that go hand in hand when talking about the 1993 Dalhousie men's basketball team. Senior pivot Dean Thibodeau, a 6'7" Summerside native, has been with the program for 5 years. He likes what he's seen so far this season.
As far as previous teams go at Dalhousie, yeah, we fare pretty well against those teams. We have a lot of size and we have a lot of depth at guard, and just an all-around better team this year. More depth and more quickness and more size.
Thibodeau is only too well aware that the success or failure of this edition of the Tigers rests in large measure on his own lofty shoulders.
I think my role has to be totally lead the team in everything, attitude, scoring, rebounding, you know, just overall team tempo. You know, I have to control that because the guys, they're going to follow me just naturally, and if I don't do my part in everything, then we're not going to make it.
Okay, here we go. Go ball gone. Go ball. There again then.
Throughout his career, Thibodeau's offensive prowess has never been in question. 20 to 25 points a game is commonplace. He's collected all conference and all Canadian honors. But this year, Dal coach Bev Greenlaw has asked him to take on even more.
The big thing we asked him to do was to really concentrate more at the defensive end and really remain focused. And what he and I talked about mostly were team goals. The thing that we have not achieved in his career here is to win the AUA. And that's what he really wants to leave, having done, is to lead this team to an AUA championship.
All right, then. In this, Thibodeau's final year at Dal, are a playoff berth and a conference championship realistic goals?
I think we can be very competitive this year. There's a lot of good teams in this conference, as usual. I think it's the best conference in the country again this year. I don't know if there's any real powerhouse team in this conference, but everyone's pretty even, and we have to come to play every game or we're going to lose.
Thanks, Doug. We'll be keeping our eye on them throughout the season. For Sports Watch, I'm Colleen Jones.
Sprint and then get here.
From time to time, Dalhousie University has been criticized for its high academic standards. Some rabid sports watchers have alleged that top academics and the recruitment of top athletes can't possibly go hand in hand. But in the case of Shawn Plancke, it was academic opportunity first and basketball second that brought him to Dal from his hometown of Elgin, Ontario.
I came here because of the education, because I want to be a teacher, and this is the best phys ed program in Canada. We researched all over the place, and it's definitely the best.
The 6'7" Plancke was one of Ontario's top high school players last year and would have been an asset to any program in the country. But from a strict basketball perspective, he's glad he chose the Maritimes and Dalhousie.
Our team, I'm really impressed with the young guys that we've brought in this year and how well we're working together with the older guys. And the conference, the teams we've already played, I'm really impressed with the player, the caliber, especially of the posts that I played against so far. And I'm really happy that it came down here.
The current leader of the Dal Tigers is senior pivot Dean Thibodeau, who's won both all-conference and all-Canadian honors during his career. Coach Bev Greenlaw believes the freshman Plancke can eventually be as good as Thibodeau and even better.
We believe that in the course of his career, he has the potential to be better than Dean, yes. We also believe, on the basis of what we've seen so far, that he is the best freshman in Canada right now.
Best freshman in Canada?
That's our belief, and that seems to be something that several of the teams that were in for our tournament concurred with.
If Dean Thibodeau was a selfish player, he might resent a rookie stealing some of his thunder. But he's not, and he doesn't. On the contrary, Thibodeau has been most impressed with the youngster.
Shawn Plancke is just a great all-around player. He's a great athlete, and he's a great kid, and if I lead him, he's just going to follow and play better every day out.
Baptized under fire, as it were, due to injuries to other players, Shawn Plancke has been forced to become a force early in his college career. He has definite goals in mind for this season as well as for down the road.
For this year, I definitely want to make the playoffs, and we're going to make the playoffs. And my goal is to make it to the Nationals. And then before the end of my 5 years are done, I want to win the Nationals.
And Shawn Plancke is a young man accustomed to achieving his goals.
At 6'8", Shawn Plancke is flying high.
He already has American and Canadian universities knocking on his door, and it's no wonder because when he plays, everybody watches.
The best part for me is just as a team to win. I love to win as a team, and how I do personally doesn't really matter as long as the team wins whatever it is.
You have to be impressed with his work ethic, I think, and he's really worked very hard with his teammates, I think, to be a part of that. And it's fairly easy for somebody, I think, to when they become fairly dominant, as Shawn, I think, has become, particularly this year, to forget about his teammates, and he doesn't do that, and he's that type of player, and so we're really proud of him for that kind of attitude.
25 points is what Plancke averages a game, and it could explain why he was a member of the Ontario provincial team, along with winning the Single A provincial basketball championships last year. Off the court, he's a high achiever as well, averaging 80% in his grades, something he credits to his family.
My parents, they always remind me about my marks, and they keep me going, because sometimes, I just want to play and that, but they remind me that I need my school to fall back on.
Is it hard being as tall as you are sometimes?
Well, it is when you have to walk down halls and everyone's staring at you, and they make jokes about you, but I know in my mind that it doesn't matter, so that's what I always think about.
As for Plancke's future, he hopes to play university basketball and make the national team one day.
Plancke may not be the appropriate last name for the Tigers' power forward. Shawn Plancke doesn't walk the plank, he climbs the ladder and powers it down. The slam dunk is the biggest rush in basketball to Shawn Plancke.
I love dunking. I guess it helps to get the team going and it gets the fans going. And for me, I'm not a great shooter, so it's my best shot. So anytime I have a chance to dunk, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
One of the things that Shawn will do is really run the floor. He'll really get out and run the floor. So frequently he'll get the defensive rebound, throw the outlet pass, and still be at the other end to catch the over the top for the dunk. And when you have a big guy who's willing to work that hard between the lines and run the floor like that for you, as we've been telling our guards, you've got to reward him, guys. You've got to look up, and if he's there, give him the basketball.
Shawn Plancke was recruited by several Canadian and American universities. The 20-year-old from Elgin, Ontario, says his parents played a key role in his development as a basketball player, and he's feeling more comfortable in his second year away from home.
Yeah, my parents, they helped me out a lot. They drove me to every tournament from Toronto to Ottawa every weekend for practices. They've just been a great help in my life. I send them all the clippings, all the TV things, and right after every game, that's the first thing I do is go phone them and tell them how I did, because they're waiting by the phone. I'm a lot more used to being away from my parents, and I've got a lot of different friends here now. So it's the adjustment's been made for me, and I'm starting to do a lot better socially.
Plancke is the second leading scorer in the league behind Will Njoku of St. Mary's, averaging over 21 points per game. The players' positions are reversed in rebounding. Plancke is hauling down 11.3 boards per game. The 6'7" Plancke says he takes a lot of pride in his rebounding. Surprisingly, he wasn't known as a scorer before university ball.
When I was in high school, I looked to get every rebound I could, and my parents, my mom, she asked me after every game, how many rebounds did you get, Shawn? So I have to work hard, because if I get less than 10, she's not going to be happy with me. Coach Greenlaw, he's helped me a lot with developing my scoring. I wasn't much of a scorer when I was in high school, and he's given me the chance to come in here and play tons of minutes and right off the bat, and that's really helped me to help score against a lot of the better players.
As might be expected, Plancke says last year's Player of the Year in the CIAU, St. Mary's Will Njoku, is the toughest to play against.
Will is definitely the toughest player for myself to guard. He can just do so many moves, and he has so many shots in his repertoire. So for me, I really have to work hard playing against him. But there's also a lot of other players who are physically a lot stronger than I am, so I have to work really hard against a lot of the posts.
Plancke feels his rebounding ability is the strongest part of his game, but he needs work in other areas.
Last year playing against Dean Thibodeau, he's the greatest offensive player I've ever played against, and he can the moves he had, if I can get those, I think that I can really be a force in this league, because right now I'm having to rely too much on my jumping and instead of having actual moves.
Over the summer, he worked quite hard to both get himself stronger physically and also to get his game to the level where he could be our go-to guy inside. And frankly, I think he's continuing to get better at that. He gets better as our go-to guy almost with every game. And the thing about Shawn is he always comes to play in the games.
Last year, Plancke was named the top rookie in Canada, something he'll always remember.
It was a great honor just on my own team with the number of rookies we had. It was, I felt very happy to represent them, and it meant a lot to my parents. They got to come down and see the ceremony. That was a dream come true. So for me, all that really matters now the next 4 years is winning a national championship, and I don't really care how I do. I just want to do whatever it takes to lead the team to victory.
If our fortunes go where I hope they will, Shawn Plancke will be a serious candidate for Player of the Year honors, and definitely a serious All-Canadian candidate.
Ray Bradshaw for Sportsline.
First jam, and I guarantee you, Will Njoku's going to be looking for that ball in this half. He's going to want to answer that back. You see the play here. He catches, goes underneath, goes right by Lewinstra and past the block of Njoku. Don't tell me Shawn Plancke doesn't want this win.
And back to live action, and Njoku just hit another turnaround jumper, and he and Christian Curry got something going.
I'm sure Will's letting the freshman know that he came to play.
Sean Mantley working on Jeff Pierce, finds Marcus Jameson. He shoots no good, and he was fouled by Jeff Balzer.
Boy, and Jameson has the little sketch pad because he's drawing fouls left, right, and center here, and every one of them's right in the same spot, too. And we'll see that play again. Once again, Lewinstra just can't handle him inside. He goes right by Will, too. Not too many people dunk on Will Njoku, especially with a little flare of a reverse on top.